In the annals of the American Civil War, where legends like Grant, Sherman, and Lee dominate the pages of history, one name often remains overlooked. A man whose unwavering resolve, strategic brilliance, and battlefield dominance earned him the title the Rock of Chickamauga. A commander who never lost a battle, who shattered enemy forces with precision, and who perhaps more than any other embodied the essence of a modern general. This is a story of Major General George Henry Thomas, a master strategist, a soldier's general, and a man who might have ended the war sooner had history been fairer to him. From his controversial decision to remain loyal to the Union despite his Virginia roots, to his methodical and devastating victory at Nashville, to the very reason some believe he was denied the highest command, this is a history you won't want to miss. Stay tuned, and let's set the record straight on one of the greatest military minds of the Civil War. He was the Rock of Chickamauga, a man of unwavering integrity, a general who never lost a battle. Yet, history has largely overshadowed his legacy. Major General George Henry Thomas, a name that should stand among the greatest strategists of the American Civil War. But why has his story been largely forgotten? And what made him such a formidable leader? In this video, we set the record straight. Born in Virginia in 1816, Thomas was expected to follow his southern roots when the Civil War broke out. But unlike many of his fellow Virginians, he remained loyal to the Union. This decision came at great personal cost. His family disowned him, refusing to ever speak to him again. Even after his death, they refused to accept his sword. Yet, Thomas stood firm, driven by duty, not politics. His loyalty was questioned by Union politicians, who hesitated to promote a Virginian. Some believed he should have led the entire Union Army instead of Ulysses S. Grant. But despite political roadblocks, Thomas carved his place in history through battlefield brilliance. In September 1863, at the Battle of Chickamauga, the Union Army was on the verge of collapse. Confederate forces had broken through, threatening a complete rout. Yet, amid the chaos, one general stood firm. George Henry Thomas held the line, repelling wave after wave of Confederate attacks. His defiance saved the Union Army from total destruction, earning him the nickname the Rock of Chickamauga. But Thomas was not just a defensive mastermind. He was a strategist who knew when to strike. December 1864. The Army of Tennessee, led by Confederate General John Bell Hood, was advancing on Union-held Nashville. Thomas, in command, faced immense pressure from Washington to attack immediately, but an ice storm halted his army. While others demanded action, Thomas refused to risk his men on frozen terrain. He knew that patience was a weapon. Under immense political pressure, Thomas stood firm, risking his career for the safety of his troops. When the time was right, he struck. And when Thomas attacked, he attacked decisively. His troops crushed Hood's Confederate forces, effectively destroying the Army of Tennessee. It was one of the most complete victories of the war, proving Thomas's brilliance not just in defense, but in overwhelming offensive execution. Thomas was a soldier's general loved by his men and respected by his peers. Even Grant admitted that Thomas was a better general than himself. Yet, he never wrote memoirs, never sought political fame, and never returned to his beloved Virginia. His family had disowned him, and his achievements were overshadowed by others. He should be remembered as one of the finest strategists in American military history. A man who never lost a battle. A leader who put his men before politics. Perhaps it's time we give George Henry Thomas the recognition he deserves. In the grand tapestry of the American Civil War, Major General George Henry Thomas stands as a figure of unwavering strength, unparalleled strategic brilliance, and deep personal sacrifice. He was not just a tactician, but a true master of war, methodical, decisive, and unshakable in the face of both battlefield chaos and political adversity. Whether holding the line at Chickamauga or delivering a masterstroke of destruction at Nashville, Thomas defined what it meant to be a commander of unrelenting resolve. His refusal to act hastily, his ability to anticipate and outmaneuver his enemies, and his deep commitment to his soldiers made him a general ahead of his time. Yet, history has often overlooked him. Unlike Grant or Sherman, Thomas never sought glory, only victory and duty fulfilled. A Virginian who chose the Union, a warrior who never lost a battle, and a leader whose integrity was his strongest weapon, Thomas remains one of the greatest unsung heroes of the Civil War. Had fate been kinder, had politics not restrained him, perhaps the war would have ended sooner, with fewer lives lost. But his legacy endures not in grand memoirs or self-promotion, but in the undeniable truth of his actions on the battlefield. If ever there was a general who exemplified strategic genius and moral courage in equal measure, it was George Henry Thomas. His name deserves to stand among the very best. If you found this story video enlightening, help us bring more untold history to light. Subscribe to EyeRich History, hit the notification bell, and share this video. Because history is more than just names and dates, it's the legacy of those who shaped our world.